Hello, and welcome to Book 4, Chapter 7 of You Should Be Reading. This week, I'd like to talk to you about The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. Now, this is a book that the entire premise of it just seemed bizarre and strange, but mostly it was this cover that made me pick it up and decide to check it out because it looked interesting. You got pages of a book. There's like the flame has like eaten away at this, and inside the book you see there's a little house on a plane. The sun is setting. There's lights on. It gives just a very evocative and strange little picture. But what is it about? Well, the most the thing I can compare it the most to is almost like the legends of and the myths of the gods. If you've ever read any Greek, Roman, Japanese, Chinese, any type of those mythology about the gods and the demons and the pantheons and all this and that, this book brings to mind that sort of thing. It is mostly about the story of two individuals. The first individual is a young man named Steve, Steve Hodgson, I believe. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, Steve Hodgson, I think. Uh, but Steve tries to. He's a normal guy. Has a bit of a checkered past as a criminal. He's been to prison for a few years. He's out. He's trying to stay on the straight and narrow. And then you've got Caroline, and Caroline knows, like the back of the book says, she knows she's a little bit odd, but she figures it's only natural when she spent her life locked away in an infinite library, forced to study at the feet of the man who might be God. And this is where it gets strange because Caroline, literally the library that they're talking about, the man that she studied at that she calls father, um, he might be God, and she and her siblings are they have lived and studied with him for quite a while. Time inside the library is a little different, works a little differently, as does distance, uh, which is why it's an infinite library. But the strange thing is that you've got Caroline and you've got this host of other young men and women who have been studying under Father and have learned what they call catalogs. One of them being the catalog of medicine, which lets the one that is studying it literally resurrect the dead and bring them back to life. Um, there's all kinds of strange things. There's like a catalog of war, catalog of mathematics. Caroline studies the catalog of languages. She can literally speak every language in existence, any of them. And there's other ones, other stranger things going on, and strange creatures and uh, denizens and beings and whatnot. But but this is the thing. Caroline's world and Steve's world are quite disparate because Steve lives in America. He's just a normal guy. Uh, Caroline ropes him into this, uh, into what's going on. And there's something going on because Father has not been seen and may be dead. May be dead. But they don't know because they can't get in the library anymore. It's protected. There's some physical or magical force field around it that the closer they get to the library, the more they get damaged. And nobody knows how to get in, how to get past this. Nobody knows who put it up. So they enlist Steve to kind of help them out. And things go from there. I don't want to spoil it any more than that because it's an amazing little story that kept me riveted the entire time through. Because it teases you with just enough strangeness to make you keep reading to find out what happens and find out what's going on. And when you find out what's going on to something that you had a question to, there's another question. There's another thing that arises in the explanation or along the way to it that keeps you reading. It just pulled me right in, and I absolutely loved it. Absolutely. I couldn't ask for a better book than this. I mean, when I finally finished this book, uh, I literally immediately wanted to read a sequel to it with the same characters, with Caroline, with Steve. I wanted to find out what happens next, what's going to happen next. Even though I don't think there's going to be a second book, um, it kind of wraps itself up nicely, where it's got a very good ending in terms of closure, bringing everything around. So that is wonderful. Kudos to you, Mr. Scott Hawkins, for that. Even though I want to read more. I want to read more of Caroline and the fun that happens there because it's so interesting how everything is set up. I don't want to spoil any more of the story than that, except for some stuff here on the back. We've got just got a little blurb at the back. Brilliantly plotted, blackly funny, truly epic in scope, and featuring a cast of characters that include a tutu-clad psychopath, a malevolent iceberg, and a lion named after an atomic bomb. Just to give you an idea, it is bizarre and strange and wonderful. And as I said, it really evoked a feeling of the old myths of the adventures of the gods and how things were back in those days. I liked that feeling surrounding this book that, yes, it is happening and it is something that's part of the world, but it's also something that uh, could be fanciful stories, myths and legends of the old days. It has that feel to it, even though it's happening in modern day. Very, very interesting. I quite like it. So that's going to be pretty much it for this little episode because I don't want to spoil the ending and or anything else that happens in this. This is really one of those books that you need to experience it for yourself. If you like reading about those old myths and legends, if you like reading about strange, bizarre things happening to with a character that is very much normal and experiencing all these strange and wonderful things around him, if you like those kind of books, you'll like this one because it's just amazing and it flows right along that line. It walks that sweet spot where it's strange and bizarre enough, but still grounded enough in reality that you can't dismiss everything as just being, oh, he's just being bizarre for bizarre's sake. No, no. There's definitely a plot and a thought to the universe put in this book. So that's going to be it for this week. So yeah, definitely check it out. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well. If you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. Usually try and get at least one video out a week, if not more. And throw a comment in the comment section. Have you read The Library at Mount Char by Mr. Scott Hawkins? It is fantastic. I'd love to get a discussion going about the book itself, about everything going on in it, because it's an amazing. So please do all that. And until next time, remember, you should be reading The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. And I'll see you next time.